Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another week. This is episode 5 of the Random Album Review now. For those of you who don't already know, I'm Larry,
And I'm Brian.
and the way this works is each week we alternate choosing an album that the other one hasn't necessarily listened to before, at least in its entirety. And then, we get on camera, we talk about it for a little bit. We have a discussion between, somebody who's listened to this music before, somebody who hasn't. Then, we just see where it goes.
Yeah.
So this week, my week again, after last week we had Underground Rockstar. And this week, I went with an album a little bit newer to me. Within the last couple months, I've heard it and started listening to it, but I've fallen in love with it pretty quickly. We're listening to Stick Season by Noah Kahan. He's been making music for a few years now, but only recently with the help of TikTok, funnily enough. How TikTok is just kind of accelerating smaller artists into like pure stardom, and I'm all for it. It's so awesome. It's so cool.
It's great to see for them. Sometimes they're like really talented people that don't get heard because it's like they're not like big enough.
The music scene is so unbelievably competitive, and it really goes to show that all it takes is for that one breakthrough song to catch fire on, whatever social media platform or however, and somebody's life can be completely changed.
Yeah, so, it's crazy sometimes.
Obviously this album is different compared to my last two choices. I mean, we had Fall Out Boy and then we had Brockhampton. And this is kind of more folkish, how I would describe it. In a way.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
But a lot of different elements in the music. Very slow at times, very upbeat at times. With a lot of darker tones, though, obviously. And I mean, even just looking at the name of the album, Stick Season, for those of you who don't know, Stick Season is a thing in Vermont and New Hampshire where Noah Kahan grew up, and it's a time in New England between Halloween, essentially, and Christmas when everything just kind of feels empty, void. The time when sticks on trees are just bare and empty, and everything just kind of feels lack and void of beauty. A time, and I'm sure you understand this as well, a time of the year when things get particularly rough, shorter days, cold weather. It just not
the best mix.
No, not a fun time of year by any means.
Unless you're into that kind of stuff, then
I mean, absolutely. Everybody has their thing, and I know a lot of people who absolutely love this time of year, but I've come to not really like this time of year very much at all. The shorter days, especially. I mean, just recently we switched our clocks back, and it's dark at like 5 now.
It's dark.
So yeah.
Dark at 5 and it's bright at 7:30. Like, come on.
Exactly. But some of the big topics on this album, again, referring to Stick Season, talks about seasonal depression, longing for home, being homesick. That's, of course, one of the song titles. Lots of talking of, growing up, maturing, changing as a person, becoming, who you are and who you're meant to be, potentially. And a big thing as well, especially in today's culture, but we have a lot of talk about mental health, especially for men, when, mental health as a whole, but specifically for men, mental health is considered a very taboo topic, and, it shouldn't be that way.
Very looked over.
Very looked over. We're just supposed to tough it out, man. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. Yeah, sure. But
that works, yeah.
I I love men who are open and willing to talk about these things because we all know for a fact that we all go through it. Why sit here and mess around? Like we all struggle. Come on.
Yeah.
But anyway, getting into the first song that I wanted to cover today, we're gonna cover Northern Attitude, which just recently got a new version of the song that has Hosier on it.
No,
And
Ocean's on it. What a
yes,
banger.
it and I'm just by the sounds of it, I'm sure you haven't heard it yet. It's very good. Two men that can just sing. It's beautiful. It's incredible.
It's queued up, so don't worry. I'll listen to it in a few minutes here.
It's perfect. But Northern Attitude is a song specifically that talks about loss in life, and it's specifically also the idea of Northern Attitude. It's a phenomenon that's it's weird for people like you and me because we grew up here and we've been used to this sort of living, but Northern Attitude it's an idea that's been created by people who don't live in the rugged, cold, long winter seasons that we do, where because of it, we as people are kind of just cold and sheltered away, and that's the idea of a Northern Attitude. We don't talk about our feelings or anything. We kind of just move on and
Yeah.
um
Heart's stone cold.
exactly stone cold killer. So in the song, he specifically mentions lines such as how you been, settled down, you feeling right, feeling proud, how are your kids, where are they now. This is the opening of the song, and specifically it kind of highlights in a sense that it takes a little bit of thought, but it's the small talk that takes place between you and like an ex, because it's awkward, like, oh, you've moved on in life and you're doing all these cool great things,
Yeah.
like
It's like
it's
like
kind
the
of hard
small
to talk
talk of
about.
like just like the small talk of like meeting someone for the first time in like years. Like, how you been?
Yeah,
Settled down, feeling right, feeling proud, that kind of
it's
stuff.
especially awkward, between you and an ex, because you share so much memory and past together, and it's you're moving forward in life, and we all have to move forward in life eventually, but it doesn't just make seeing that person again easier. The very next portion of the song talks about you build a boat, you build a life, you lose your friends, you lose your wife, you settle into routine. This I kind of look at as in, you build a boat, you build a life. This person, Noah, in this example, he built something for himself. He built a routine. But because of that routine, because of the life he was building, he stopped focusing on his friends. He stopped focusing on a relationship of his. And because of it, things happened. Things got away from him. And again, that's where the point of the song comes in, where the Northern Attitude, he had very next lines, the chorus, and it's, if I get too close and I'm not how you hoped, forgive my Northern Attitude. Oh, I was raised out in the cold. If the sun don't rise till the summertime, forgive my Northern Attitude. Oh, I was raised on little light. Again, stick season, cold, long winter months, not a lot of sunshine. It's cold, it's miserable. It just, in ways that we don't think about, again, because you and I live here and have lived here for our entire lives, but it shapes you as a person. And you having spent a few years down in Florida, I'm sure at least a little different for you now, having experienced not miserable, fully miserable winter, at least for the weather.
It's hurricane season, baby.
Yeah, exactly. You don't got to worry about snowstorms. You just got to worry about the Category 4 that's barreling down your neck. Don't worry.
Yeah,
It's a
barely dodged me when I was there.
It'll be fine, bro. Don't worry. Ain't no problem. The next song I wanted to get into, the second track on the album, Stick Season, the title track, of course. This song is the one that like really, really took off for him on TikTok, especially. I believe posted it sometime in like the middle of the summer last year, and kind of strange that it blew up during summer because this song and all of this album as a whole, and again, Stick Season, it's all about like fall and like heading into winter. But the entire album gives off that sort of like fall winter vibe, and for the song Stick Season to kind of blow up in the middle of the summer was interesting. But very good song, very enjoyable song. It's a little bit faster paced, at least in the way he delivers the lines, I would say. He opens up by saying, "As you promised me that I was more than all the miles combined, you must have had a change of heart, like halfway through the drive, because your voice trailed off exactly as you passed my exit sign, kept on driving straight and left our future to the right." And as quick and short as that is, there is a lot of power in those words.
A lot of imagery with that. You can like
you can see it playing out in your head exactly. The talk of promise me that I was more than all the miles combined, talking about like you promising a partner, like saying, hey, you're worth every amount of effort that I have to put in. But as we very quickly come to learn, it must have had a change of heart halfway through the drive. You can tell voice trailed off exactly as you passed my exit sign, and then kept on driving straight, left our future to the right. So this person promised him that they were never going to leave. They were always going to keep working on him and working for him together. And instead, he felt there was a point where he could tell in the person's voice and the person's manners that things were coming to an end. And eventually, this person just kept on going in life and left him behind. Kept moving forward while, he got stuck. A very short moment there following, he talks about and memories are something even smoking weed can't replace. Talk about a little bit touching on the mental health portion of things, just because you're looking here and you're seeing the memories of this person. He can't just sit here and smoke and just like pretend things didn't happen, because those memories are still there. He's stuck as well in the place where all of these memories are. So even just going around town and seeing, oh well, we went to this restaurant once, or oh well, we did this once. It's one of those things where you gotta try to reclaim your life.
Yeah,
you can't let that person control it for the rest of your days. And I also really like the very next line where he says, "And I'm terrified of weather because I see when it rains." This is, and I'm sure you didn't know this, and this is a reference to his song "Glue Myself Shut" from his Cape Elizabeth EP, where he says something similar about weather and rain, seeing somebody in the rain. The chorus on the song is very good. It's very catchy. It's very quick. He loves Vermont. Season of the Sticks. He saw this person's mother. She forgot that I existed, and it's half my fault, but I like to just play the victim. Possibly a hint towards maybe what happened between he and this person. And then following it up by saying, "I'll drink alcohol till my friends come home for Christmas." Again, substance abuse. It's a very, very real thing, unfortunately. and I'll dream each night of some version of you that I might not have, but I did not lose. And the way I look at that line specifically is he sees things as, you know, things happened between them. He still has those memories, and he's still been shaped as a person to be who he is, and he'll never be able to. There will always be a place in his heart for that person, if that makes sense. There will always be a piece of them with him because they just had, so much impact on his life. But yeah, so, going through those two tracks, I did just want to, before we moved on into the our favorite songs on the album, I did want to just real quick, because this is something we did with the Lee Seraphim album, where you showed the album and then I showed the Fall Out Boy record. But I did recently, and I'm wearing it right now. Actually, it's kind of hard to see because I'm all the way down here. But I did order a sweatshirt from the album. Here's the front of it, and then the back. On the back, you have, a bunch of the song names, a bunch of images that kind of, go along with the songs. Nothing too crazy. But I love it. And
is it the green one?
It is the green one, yes.
Yeah, the one I'm on Google. I'm on Google Images right now.
Yeah,
this one was the circle on the front, right? Or is it the one with
the yeah, it's circle on the front. Yeah, I got like the forest green one.
Yeah, looks pretty nice.
It's very comfortable.
It looks very comfortable.
Very warm as well. But
it looks very comfortable. I saw you wear it earlier.
Yes, yeah, I have not been I got it just a few days ago, and I've been wearing it basically almost every day since. But so yeah, so Brian, having listened to the entirety of the album, any songs that stood out above the rest?
Northern Attitude, I think, is one of my favorites. It's really good. I like how the beat sounded in there. The guitar, was it guitar?
Yes.
Yeah, look at the guitar playing in the background, and Everywhere and Everything was also one of my favorites.
Everywhere and Everything is very beautiful. There's so many different songs on this album, and like they all have very different sounds. Definitely agree with Northern Attitude being one of the best songs on the album. I obviously, again, I covered Stick Season for a reason. I absolutely love that song. That song is it's a late night walk jam. Like, I'll just put that on.
Walk.
Yeah, it's what it is. I'm also a big fan of Orange Juice as a song because that song is gut wrenching. That song is a very deep note on alcoholism, and it just, it kills you. So then this is always the tricky one. Actually, really quick, I did want to say, funnily enough, while I was sitting here and going through all the different songs and like all the different ideas and things that are covered on these songs, you can kind of tell what a person has gone through, or like what a person is currently going through, what a person's trauma is, based on what song they choose as their favorite on this album.
Oh.
Because, I mean, you have the ideas of past love failing, you have the ideas of being homesick, longing for home, longing for something, the issues with mental health, the issues with smoking weed, the issues with alcohol. You can tell a lot about a person based on what they choose for their favorite song here. But
what is this? I'll read the lyrics real quick. Everywhere and Everything. Oh, spouse, I'm out love.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Oh crap. I mean. Oh man.
See, now you know.
The lyrics. I read the lyric and I was like, oh man, you really called me out. You're right.
Now you know. I mean, even looking at like songs like Growing Sideways, where it talks about, so I took my medication, poured my trauma out, talking about going to therapy, stuff like that. Again, very important for men to be open about going to therapy and getting help because we are all people at the end of the day.
Hmm.
Um, but and I know this is always a segment that's been hard for us just because the way you and I both look at music, but any songs that stood out as the worst or a bad song?
Um, no, I don't have any.
That's
And like
fair.
I've said before, I don't judge a song based off um like if I like it or not, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I judge a song like favorite to least favorite. Least favorite, I consider least favorite as like I will not listen to a song like ever. Like if it comes
Yes.
up, I'll just skip it.
Yeah, it's a
Whereas
skip.
like favorite songs, like if it comes up, I'll play it, I'll blast it, and I might replay it.
Might
Like why
replay it.
not?
Exactly.
Like that kind of thing. But yeah, I don't really dislike many songs. There's a few that'll never show up on this podcast, but there's a few.
Yeah, I mean, so personally for me, like similar vein where I feel like I don't necessarily have it's hard for me to have a least favorite because there are some songs that just kind of wishy-wash together, and then there are some songs that I just don't really feel are bad. Like you said, they're not bad enough to the point where it makes you go, "Oh, this is the worst song."
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, if I had to choose, maybe probably between either Still or Halloween. I really like both of those songs, but I don't know. There are times that I'm sitting there and I just don't really feel like listening to them, and sometimes they'll just get a skip. But
Hmm.
um, so again, very different album here compared to what we've listened to. So, what are your overall your closing thoughts here?
Um, I thought it was a good album. It's why I think this most different thing I've listened to out of everything we've done so far.
Yeah,
But I liked it. It was very good. A lot of different, like you said, a lot of different emotions and topics and themes in each song. That was very nice.
yeah,
It's a good
and
listen.
like I said, it's something I haven't even listened to a ton before, and like in a lot of ways, I feel like I'm kind of hopping on the Noah Kahan bandwagon as is. Um, but within the last couple months, this album has meant a lot to me. With some of the topics that are covered and discussed. Um, we'll leave it at that. Uh, but it's meant a lot to me. It's been very rejuvenating to hear because it is different from some of the other music I listen to. It's a new sound. It's fresh. It's a new voice. Um, and I and it's hard because again he is kind of blowing up very rapidly. But I want to go to a concert so bad. But his tour and like his dates for next year are already like being sold out, and it's like that's tough.
That's already that's crazy.
Yeah, yeah,
That's like
yeah.
I mean, I
He's.
guess I would guess ever since like Taylor Swift did her Eras tour, that's been like happening. I guess
I
like
mean,
everyone just listens to everything and then just goes and buys all the tickets.
yeah. It's tough. It's tough. The music industry is fun right now, as a whole. But what would you out of 10? What would you give it?
Hold on, let me get my script real quick.
A
Uh,
script?
yeah. So
No.
yeah. So on here, Larry said Brian has to say it is no. It's I give it a 7.8 out of 10. I liked it. It was pretty good.
That's
It's
very fair.
yeah.
I personally give it an 8 out of 10. I feel like there's a lot of room for him to improve as an artist. But for this being his third studio album and it being the one that is finally, taken off, finally sent him into, stardom and everything, we'll see, where he goes from here. See, what
Mhm.
kind of music he makes, see if he goes a similar direction, a different direction. Um, definitely, definitely a really fun album. I love it so much. It's been, like I said, kind of a constant listen over the last couple months. So But yeah, anything else on your mind, Brian?
Not really. That's I've said what I could. Said what I
Right.
said. So
Well, as always, if you've listened to Stick Season before, what would you give it? Do you have a favorite song? Do you have a least favorite song? Are you unlike Brian and I, where you can actually pick a least favorite song? Um, Bro's flaunting his hoodie, crazy. If not, maybe give it a try, and let us know what do you think of it personally. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week.
see ya.
Bye, guys.